Hello and welcome to CT360 OS Architecture 2. So OS Architecture 2 is a course that uses Windows 2008 to demonstrate some of the networking components of Microsoft Windows. You may have learned about many of these components in your Linux course, um, things like DNS and DHCP and so forth. So this is really a network infrastructure class using Microsoft Windows Server 2008 as a network operating system to facilitate some of those services. So when you begin the course, when you log into Blackboard, you will see under the faculty info, I have my contact information. You'll see my telephone number and my email address. That telephone number is my cell phone number. You're welcome to call me anytime, as long as it's not too late at night. I prefer if you call me before 10 p.m. And after 7 a.m. would be good. Other than that, anytime you need something, please feel free to reach out to me. If you get my voicemail, it may be better just to send me a text message as opposed to leaving me a voicemail. I usually get back to you a little bit faster that way. My phone number is great if you need immediate assistance. My email address is good if you just have a question that you can wait a day or two before you get an answer. If you have something urgent, please make sure you use my phone number or send me a text message. My email would not be appropriate for urgent messages that require an immediate response. So make sure you have a note or take a note of this information. It's a good idea to make a note of it outside of Blackboard in case for some reason you can't get into Blackboard. Sometimes that's why people contact me, because they're having trouble with accessing Blackboard. And they'll need to let me know that for, maybe there's an assignment that's due or an exam or something like that. All right, so if you go under announcements in Blackboard, periodically throughout the course, throughout the quarter, I'll post announcements. Usually I try to post an announcement weekly. This class is using Windows 2008 Server to demonstrate the concepts for the objectives, and a lot of students will mention to me that Windows 2008 is a rather dated operating system, and while that may be true in some respects, I should tell you that I just finished developing a few courses in 2012, and we're going into 2018, and we're still running on 2012 for some of our coursework. And the reason for that is because, number one, organizations do not upgrade Windows servers that fast. We may not see ubiquitous use of 2016 server for another 5 to 6 years. And there are still companies running 2008 server. I work with a lot of companies that still, a good percentage of their infrastructure is running on 2008 server. So I think it's important to have an understanding of it. And you're always going to be exposed to these older operating systems, but if you understand the older ones, understanding the new ones is not that hard. Typically, things get a little bit easier. They get different, and some things are a little bit easier. Try managing an old Windows NT 4.0 server, and you'll see what I mean when I say that if you can figure out the old stuff, the new stuff generally is a little bit easier to work with. But the new stuff adds new features and new functionality. So what these announcements I will probably do periodically is, in whatever unit we're covering, if there's some new feature or functionality that I feel that you should be aware of in 2012 and 2016, I'll post an announcement and I might discuss that just a little bit, just to keep you abreast of that information. When you click on course information, this will be where you access the syllabus. So the syllabus is here. You can download it as a PDF and take a look at it, although all of the information is also available right here in Blackboard. Most important thing for you is probably going to be the schedule that shows you what we're working on week to week. So this week, for example, we'll be doing the Introduction to Windows Server 2008 and installing Windows 2008, and that's going to cover chapters 1 and 2, as well as labs 1 and 2. I'm going to talk about the labs here in just a few minutes, but make sure that you keep up with the schedule and follow along with the schedule. The way I have Blackboard configured, you'll be able to work ahead in the schedule, but generally it's a bad idea to wait until we're on week 4 to start working on week 1 or 2. While Blackboard will allow you to turn in those items, it's generally not good to fall far behind because it makes it difficult to keep caught up. And this can kind of snowball on you. So while I am flexible with the due dates and I'm flexible with when you turn things in, please make sure that you stay on schedule. I always hate to get that email from students somewhere around week 9 that they haven't completed any of the work up until that week and they're asking for an extension or an incomplete. If you haven't done anything before, say, week 5, for week unit, if we get to unit 4 and you still haven't done anything for units 1, 2, and 3, I'll probably send you an email asking what's going on, but I'll make the assumption that you're dropping the course if that's the case. So don't fall behind. And I should warn you as well that generally, if you don't contact me until later in the course and you haven't done the work, I'm generally not going to be able to give you an incomplete for that. So I'll frequently have students that ask me for an incomplete sometime in week 9 or 10 because they realize they're not going to finish all the work. But when I look at the dates that they're completing the work, they went the first 4 weeks not doing anything. I didn't even see them logging into Blackboard. It shows me every time you log in and what you're doing in the course. So please make sure you keep on top of the work. And you'll also find in here the grading breakdown, so you'll know how your grade is calculated. Of course, the grade book in Blackboard will also show you that as well, and you'll see your grades as you complete items. I'll be going in and adding those grades. So this is the official late policy for the course, although I am a little bit more lenient than what you'll find in the official written policy. But it's a good idea to work as if this late policy is the is the standard. That way you're keeping up with all the work. Unfortunately, in this class, I do ask you to write some papers. This class was developed with the idea that students should be writing. Anybody can learn about Microsoft Windows 2008 and figure out how to use it, but as a college student, you should also be able to distill and synthesize what you learn into and be able to write a short paper about that. So there are a few short papers throughout the course. And I'll talk about these lab roll-up reports in the lab video. So I'm going to have a separate video that's going to talk about how to report on your labs, which we're gonna have some labs in this course, and we're going to use lab connections to do that. And finally, there are discussions. So every week you're going to find a discussion. Please make sure that you participate with other students in the discussion. I'll post some discussion guidelines in the announcements later in the beginning of the week of the course, just so you have some expectation of how I'll be grading those and what I'm looking for in those discussions. As you go through each week, so for example, you'll be starting Unit 1 soon, and as you go through each week, you'll see all of the things that you have to get done each week. They'll be listed in here. So there is a presentation each week. I should let you know that this presentation is done by another instructor. So another instructor developed the presentations for this course online. I may periodically augment these presentations with some of my own, or I might give you some additional information about 2012, for example, just to kind of keep you aware of some of those features and so forth, outside of the coursework. But you can access the presentation materials by clicking on the link to watch the video, or you can just read the transcript. I will tell you that these presentations are rather short in this course, so I'm not sure exactly why they were developed to be so short, but sometimes, there's really no excuse to not review those if they're only 11 minutes a week, right? So you only have to take 15 minutes a week, and you should be able to review most of the presentation material. So you'll be able to get most of what you need probably from doing the labs and also from reading the textbook. But the labs are certainly a great way to learn about this stuff. Sitting there watching a presentation isn't really going to help you understand how Windows 2008 works and how to set up DNS, for example. But doing the lab should solidify that. So make sure you do those labs. And to that end, each week you'll see an assignment where you'll be turning in the labs. So it'll say something like roll-up report for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and so forth. And I'm going to show you in another video how to access those labs. I'm going to separate that into another video since it's a little bit tricky to set that up. So that's it. So that's the basic layout of the course. And if you have any questions about the course or how to navigate the course, or if you have any questions about the material or the grading and so forth, this is probably a good time to bring forth those questions this week. And you can certainly do so in the discussion board so that other students have the benefit of seeing your question. But if it's of a more private nature, by all means, please send me an email. And best of luck this quarter, and I look forward to working with all of you.